Okay, I think I'm live now. I'm just going to check my sound here. Hope everyone's having a great day today. Yeah, looks fine. Check, 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 check. 1, 2, check 1, 2. Checking the microphone. Check. Check, check. Yep. It's all good. Let me put this over here like this. Okay, so we're good. Okay, so that's good there. And then I'm going to put this over here and this over here. The notes over here. So I'm going to be recording live. This is the recording of Module 3, Part 2, Advanced Content Marketing. So let me just adjust the microphone level here. I think it's good. I don't need this on. So I'm just going to record. If you guys have questions or comments, make sure to leave them below. I'll read them afterwards. Also, make sure to like and subscribe. I do go live every single day. I'm going to be doing it for the rest of the year and into next year and until forever because I like doing this until I get, I guess, tired of it or too old to do it, I guess. I don't know if you could get too old to create content, but either way, I'm going to be doing it for a long time, every single day, going live, whether it's creating content like this for the course that I want to create or actually just playing video games or motivational speeches, whatever the case is, there's always going to be content every single day. And it's something that I've grown to like. I actually find it fun. It's fun to come up with these topics. And in this case, I'm creating an SEO course, which is going to help a lot of people learn SEO. And I'm basically putting all the information that I have out there for anyone. And I'm going to be giving it out for free for those of you that are subscribed to the newsletter. You'll get it for free. So yeah, make sure to subscribe so you can get it for free. I don't understand why this thing is like this though. I had to fix that. And let me see on my other page. For some reason, the description didn't copy over. It's really interesting, but looks like it's okay now. All right, so I'm going to start recording right now. Module 3, Part 2, Advanced Content Marketing. Welcome to SEO Hacks with Andrew. I'm Andrew Messia. This is Part 2 of Module 3, Content Marketing. Welcome to SEO Hacks with Andrew. I'm Andrew Messia. This is Part 2 of Module 3, Advanced Content Marketing. Today I'm going to take a deeper dive into content marketing, but before we do that, let's go over what we've learned so far. In Module 1, in Part 1, we had the intro to SEO. Part 2 was keyword research. Part 3 was advanced keyword research. And then in module 2, we talked about on-page SEO in part 1. Part 2 was on-page SEO and technical SEO. And then part 3 was SEO audit. Now in module 3, this module, the previous video in part 1, we talked about an intro to content marketing. In this video, we're going to go over content marketing in depth. In order to understand content marketing, I want to go over an acronym that I've used and I got from Neil Patel, who is a content marketing genius. And the acronym is WHIPS, WHIPS, the WHIPS framework. In content marketing, you don't need to be the best writer. You just need to understand your audience and have a plan. In this module, we'll go over the WHIPS framework for creating content and content marketing rules. We have to go back to your buyer persona to understand your audience. Remember, we created a buyer persona in module 1, part 2? Please pause the video and make your first buyer persona if you haven't already. I don't just stare at a blank page when I want to start writing content for a client, or when I used to write a lot of content for myself, or when I was getting started in digital marketing. I didn't just start with a blank piece of paper or a blank screen. When I task one of my writers, I don't just send them an idea and say, hey, write something. This would take a very long time. I know, because there was a point where it did take a long time. It took forever. Creating great content shouldn't take forever. When creating content, you should know your reader and their buyer's journey while reading this piece of content. I'm going to state that again. When creating content, you should know where your reader is in their buyer's journey while they're reading that particular piece of content. When creating content, you have to know your buyer's journey. To remember your buyer's journey easily, I use this acronym, WHIPS, W-H-I-P-S. The W stands for window shopper. The H stands for help me. I stands for inform me. P stands for persuade me, and S stands for show me. That's the acronym, WHIPS. Window shopper, help me, inform me, persuade me, and show me. And that's a typical buyer journey. Remember, we talked about this, and you can even condense this into 3 different stages, which is awareness. Let me pull that up again from module 2. Okay, so you can even condense this buyer journey, this WHIPS, into the 3 stages of a buyer's journey, which is the awareness stage, where they're just becoming aware. And in this case, in WHIPS, they are the window shopper and maybe seeking help, right? They're in the awareness stage. And then they go from the awareness to consideration, considering where they can find the solution. So they need information. That's where the I in WHIPS comes, inform me. And then comes the decision-making stage, the 3rd stage. And that's the P and the S in the acronym WHIPS, which means persuade me and show me how this works. Show me how I can buy it and how it'll work for me. So let's break these down, each one by one. Window shopper. The reader is interested in buying, but maybe not from you. Have you ever been in a store and a salesperson comes up to you and asks, may I help you? You reply, no, I'm just looking. Well, that's a window shopper. And in content marketing, when you are creating content, there are going to be pieces or articles or blog posts that you're going to create that are just for window shoppers. And It's someone that knows that they want to buy something, but maybe they don't know where they're going to buy it from, and or where they're going to get it or where they're going to find it. They're just looking around. They know they have a problem, they know they have an issue, they know that they have a need, a want, but they don't know how to fulfill it yet. They don't even know where to begin looking, so they're just browsing. And maybe that's where they come across your piece of content. But don't worry about content yet. We're going to get to that in a minute. First, let's go over this WIPS acronym. So W is for window shopper. The H is for help me. This person in this stage is a person that knows they have a problem, an issue, or a necessity, but doesn't know exactly how to overcome it, right? They understand that they have a problem. It could be maybe, let's say in our field, in drug addiction, alcohol addiction, it could be a parent that knows that their kid has a problem, right? And their kid could be an adult now, but they don't know how to overcome this issue. They don't even know how to approach the issue yet. So they've gone past the window shopping stage where they've realized, okay, that this is a serious problem. My child is not a common drinker, right? They're not just drinking on the weekend. They're drinking every single day when they wake up in the morning, type of thing, or getting blackout drunk every evening, type of problem. But they don't know exactly how to overcome this problem because they're new to this world of addiction, right? They're looking for a solution or information on a solution, right? To find a lot of help or help me type of keywords and phrases, you can use your favorite keyword tool. I use Ahrefs, the Keyword Explorer. Additionally, I also use a free tool called answerthepublic.com. You can go to answerthepublic.com, enter a keyword, for example, like alcoholism or alcohol addiction or drug addiction, whatever your keyword is. You could be selling pies. You could type in pies. And it'll give you a ton of questions based on data that they pull from Google and from other places that are commonly asked questions, like how to bake a pie, how long to bake a pie, how to make shepherd's pie. So it's like a long list of different prepositions that they use, different questions, whether it's a when, how, who, what type questions as well. So you could get a ton of ideas for what this person in this situation, in this stage in the buyer's journey, in the help me, in the awareness section of the buyer's journey would be using. Next is I for inform me. Person in this stage is aware of the problem but doesn't know where they want to purchase the solution or the product that will give them the solution, right? Or how to fulfill their need. They know how to fulfill their need, but they don't know where to get that product, right? So they're asking to be informed. Like the help me type of keywords, you can also search for them in the Keyword Explorer in your favorite keyword tool. I use Ahrefs. You can also use SEMrush. Moz.com has one. Uber Suggest by Neil Patel is another one that's really great. Those are all paid, but you could use the free trial to get started. You could also use... So these are solution-oriented keywords. These aren't, like the help me ones where they're asking a question. This is like the benefits of, or how this helps, right? It's an explanation. They are explanation type keywords that you're using for this type of content for a person that's in the inform me stage of the buyer's journey. The next one is P for persuade me. This person is aware of their problem or necessity. They know what the solution is, and they're aware of you and your competitors. They're trying to decide what to go with or who to go with in order to buy their product or their service. The keywords that fall in this category are comparison type keywords. A person that's wanting to be persuaded because they're aware of the problem, they're informed of how to overcome the problem, and are ready to be sold, they are asking to be persuaded, and they usually search for keywords such as X product versus X product, or X service versus X service, because they want to compare your solution or someone else's solution versus another competitor, right? So those are the type of keywords that person is using in that buyer's journey. Another keyword could be the difference between X product and Y product. Next is S for show me. This person knows everything we've mentioned above. They're informed and they're on the cusp of being sold. They just need that extra nudge. The keywords involved in this part of the journey are review type of keywords, testimonial type of keywords. They want to see how the product has benefited other people and put themselves in their shoes. And on top of that, they want to see the price. They want to see how easy it is to purchase from you. So that's a very important part to that buyer's journey. If you're creating a landing page that shows off your product, add many testimonials, case studies, client quotes, videos, etc. So that's WIPs, the acronym WIPs. I'll go over it again. WIPs stands for window shopper, help me, inform me, persuade me, and show me. WHIPS. So it's important to know this, but at the same time, it's important not to fall into the problem circle that many content marketers or new content marketers fall into. Now that you know where in the WIPs journey your reader is when you're creating content, you don't want to get caught in this problem circle. What is the problem circle? Well, it makes up of three things. Number one is the perfectionist. It's okay to want to have a great piece of content, but don't be a perfectionist to the point that you keep putting off publishing the article because you keep editing, adding, proofreading, sending someone else to proofread it, someone else to edit it, add more content, proofread, and it takes forever to upload or to publish onto the internet. I have a rule of thumb. The art of writing is the art of rewriting. So push out your content and improve on it over time. The best articles with the most traffic that we've created for our clients are ones that keep getting updated over and over, maybe monthly, maybe quarterly, maybe even yearly. Number two of the problem cycle or the problem circle is don't become a hoarder. Don't become a hoarder of ideas. Don't keep brainstorming without taking action. Come up with 2 or 3 ideas and then start writing and pushing content out. Don't just store ideas. Don't just brainstorm and not take action. And if you're really hard up, or maybe you're the type of person that just needs someone to help you take action, that's where you outsource to a writer. You give them all these ideas and you help that writer make that next step, or take that next step into writing the content and publishing it. The third stage of this problem circle is don't be indecisive. When you decide on a set of keywords to tackle or a particular point in the buyer's journey to write about or to write for, stick with it. Don't keep changing your content's focus. Don't keep changing your mind. Don't keep adding things that is going to change the focus of the content. Make sure to stick to your plan. Dave Brailsford, a British cycling coach that led the team, I'll repeat that. Dave Brailsford, a British cycling coach that led Team Sky to win the Tour de France 6 times, talks about marginal gains in his books. He believes that if you improve every area related to cycling by just 1%, those small gains will add up to significant improvements. This is also true in search engine optimization and content marketing. It's not going to be one aspect of SEO that's going to get you a ton of traffic and sales. The accumulation of various factors will slowly get you to the top. Be wary of anyone that guarantees you that they can get you tons of traffic right away, or rank a keyword number 1 or various keywords number 1 right away. While some unscrupulous tactics may work in the short term, they may be detrimental in the long term. Remember, you're in control of your success. As long as you focus on the little things and get better over time, you'll make big wins. Now let's go over content marketing rules. I have 20 rules that I've compiled, and I'm going to go over them one by one. Number 1, put your reader first. Give before you receive. Free samples exist because they work. Ask yourself, what can I give the potential buyer that won't cost me much, but at the same time help them in some way? It doesn't need to be a physical item, although this works very well. It could be a nugget of information you happen upon which helps with your work or your life. According to Perry Abinett from Snack Factory, a big company, Perry Abinett is the vice president of marketing at Snack Factory. The conversion rate of their sampling efforts was between 25 and 30%, meaning that at least a quarter of those who tried a free sample ended up buying the product in one of their case studies. According to a study by Cornell University, the assistant professor Miguel Gomez, testing can turn a satisfied customer into a highly satisfied customer. The difference here, according to the study, is he or she is likely to spend an additional $10 buying an extra bottle of wine with a probability of 93%, and to repurchase wine in the future, a 92% probability. This was a study of giving free samples, wine samples, for a client or for a company. So as you start your content marketing, make sure that you're always giving. I've never been afraid of giving away my secret sauce to prospects, and in this case to you right now. This has made our digital marketing company a success. Number 2, always be teaching. Most people do not want to be sold. Teaching someone something is always a much better approach than a hard sale. Writing should be about informing or engaging your reader. Almost anyone, unless they are truly infatuated with your brand or your product or your service, will be instantly turned off if they're feeling like they're being sold. You need to become an authority in your field of expertise. Write about what you know rather than what you sell. A brilliant method of building your product or service awareness is through a comparison webpage or a comparison blog post. I know many companies fear this practice where you're highlighting a competitor, but get over it. They know them. They already know them already. The person that's reading your article where you're comparing your product to a competitor's product or your service to a competitor's service already is aware of your competitor probably. So get over it. Do it, because there's a lot of keywords that you're missing out by not doing it. And also a lot of information that you may be able to give to your potential buyer by doing so. So comparison blog posts or comparison pages are a big plus for some of our clients. And we've been able to rank for competitor keywords on first page of Google. So imagine someone is searching for a competitor, but they see our blog where it says our client's company versus this competitor. They're going to click on that because maybe they had never heard of our client's company, but now they can see that there is another competitor in the market in their area that offers a solution that may be even better or more cost effective, etc. Number 3, create content that creates conversations. Determine which approach your content is to adopt before you start to write it. Do you intend to use humor to get your point across? Conversely, should you play a more serious role or a more serious tone? Is your content about fulfilling a need or a dream, or are you looking to shock or surprise the reader? Will you be looking to encourage or discourage a specific action? Do you have a unique or fresh approach or outlook on a subject? Or are you out to affirm or dismiss previously accepted theories? This rule number 3, is to get people to think and ideally talk about way after reading your content. This builds your longevity and helps increase your sales. Remember, a conversation isn't just a monetary transaction. Remember, a conversion is not, I'm going to repeat this whole section. Number 3. I think I said it wrong. 3, create content that creates conversions. Determine which approach your content is going to adopt before you start to write it. Do you intend to use humor to get your point across? Conversely, should you play a more serious issue or problem? Is your content about fulfilling a need or a dream, or are you looking to shock or surprise the reader? Will you be looking to encourage or discourage a specific action? Do you have a unique or fresh approach or outlook on a subject, or are you just there to affirm or dismiss previously accepted theories? Rule number 3 is to get people to think and ideally talk about way after reading your content. This builds your longevity and helps you increase your sales. Remember, a conversion isn't just a monetary transaction. A conversion can be getting an email, making a phone call, filling out a form, taking a quiz, etc. Number 4, define your tone. You've decided on the topic for your content. You know where in the buyer's journey it's going to go. The tone of your writing should be motivational, kind, authoritative. Establish how you are to tackle your content creation with a consistent tone throughout. Content needs a captivating beginning, an informative middle, and a clear conclusion. Don't force a tone either. If you write in a tone that feels weird to you or alien to you, it's likely to feel wrong to the reader. Go with a tone that you're comfortable with for your content. Read your content out loud and hear how it pans out. The idea here is consistency and to ensure you address what your readers should expect from your content. Consistently builds assuredness, which in turn helps sales. Number 5, write to one person. This is your buyer persona. Have a conversation with that one person. For example, you may be helping a client sell their teen mental health services. The buyer persona is not the teenager, although the service is for a teenager. It's for the parent. The conversation you're having is with that parent. Is it a single mother, a father with 2 jobs, a wealthy family, a wealthy paying with insurance, no insurance, out of pocket, with a credit card, etc.? There's many things to consider. Even though you're writing information about teen mental health, think about who you're writing to and have a conversation with them in your content. The idea is to focus your content on that one person. You want to make the content very personal. Number 6, use Google Voice typing. I don't know if you know this, but in Google Docs, they have a voice typing tool. You can find it under the Tools section in the menu, and you click on it, and you press the button, the little microphone, and you start talking, and it types out everything that you're saying. Do this when you feel tired of typing. If you've been in front of the computer for over 2 hours writing content, you may want to use Google Voice typing, Google Docs voice typing tool. Maybe that's how you want to brainstorm, is by using the Google Voice typing tool on Docs. Number 7, use active voice, not passive voice. I was an English teacher, so I'm very aware of what is active voice and what is passive voice. A lot of people didn't study English, or they did study English, but you forgot. What is active voice? What is passive voice? You can Google it, but I'll give you an example real quick. If you want to show authority, there's little point in being passive. Even if you're an expert in your field, your writing might not show it. And that can lose credibility if you're using passive voice a lot. An example of passive voice is, my first trip abroad is one I will always remember. Active voice, however, I will always remember my first trip abroad. You can see the difference in my tone, personality, even though I was saying almost the same thing in those two sentences. One was passive and one was active. So you want to focus on writing in active voice. Practice writing through editorial web helpers like HemingwayApp.com and Grammarly.com. You'll immediately see if your copy errs on the side of active voice or passive. The idea here is to show authority and gain credibility. Number eight, short paragraphs. According to a study on Perficient.com, in 2020, over 61% of visits to websites were made through mobile devices, while only 36%, I'm going to read that again. According to a study by Perficient.com, in 2020, over 61% of visits to websites were made through mobile devices, while only 36% were made through desktop. So most people nowadays are using their cell phone, their mobile devices, to browse internet websites. A surefire way to scare off a reader is to have huge blocks of text. Make the content digestible by writing in short paragraphs, 2 or 3 sentences, while with clear headlines. Number 9, use simple words. According to readable.com, readability is partly important because Google considers it a key ranking factor. This is based on human behavior on websites. If the average person finds website content too difficult to read, they'll click elsewhere. Google loves readability because it improves user experience. Content which is easier to understand will be easier to navigate. This will encourage readers to stay on your page, which in turn improves bounce rate. I typically instruct my writers to write for a 6th grade reading level. You can use the Hemingway app to determine your content's reading level very easily. It's free. HemingwayApp.com. Number 10, cite your sources. Your reader and Google is like a college professor because they want to know where you're getting your facts and stats. Make sure to state where you get your information. Linking to high authority pages is good for your reader's experience and for SEO. Number 11, start reading. Find writers that inspire you. There are many motivational writers out there. Some of my favorites are Mark Manson, Mel Robbins, and Tony Robbins. You can find writers in your industry as well. For example, if you're a business-to-business company that sells software, look at the HubSpot blog. They have a great blog, great tone. They do content marketing amazing. Number 12, add media. Custom images and graphics are a great way to present your content because they're appealing, easy to read, and shareable. Video has proven to help increase a reader's time spent on page. This is good for your user's experience and for SEO. Number 13, guide the user to their next step. Content marketing is about understanding your buyer's persona and their buying journey. If the content you're writing is strictly informational, it's probably in the awareness part of your buyer's journey. You'll want to lead them into the next stage, which is the consideration or even the decision-making stage. You can do this by linking to a page on your website where you compare your services or where you have a video of a step-by-step process of your product or your service, or even to a testimonials page, more comparisons page, benefits page, etc. You want to know where your content is in that buyer's persona and push your reader along to the next stage. That's why when you read content on particular websites, you'll see the content's exactly what you were looking for, and then they say, you may be interested in reading this article, and then it'll be another article, and if it's a good website, it's been thought out, and they're leading you to the next phase in the buyer's journey, where maybe they're enticing you to leave your cell phone number or your email address, fill out a form, take a quiz, etc. Number 14, start with the end in mind. You need to start with the end in mind to make a sale. You'll want to start by creating your decision-making stage pages first, like your testimonial page or your sales pages, even blog posts that showcase and benefit your products or services first. This way, you'll always have the buyer's journey's goal in mind when creating additional content. Many times I've seen clients that have so-so sales pages, or they just describe what they sell, but they're not very enticing. They're not comparing their products to anybody else. They don't have testimonials. So their sales pages aren't that great. Their explanation of their services isn't that great, but they want us to create content to lead more traffic to their page. But if we don't have a great sales page ready, or a great product information page, comparison information page, etc., then I tell the client that we're just going to be throwing money out the window because we're going to get this traffic, but we're not going to be able to convert the traffic. So always have that end in mind and start at the end first. Number 15, start with a personal story. If you begin your content with a human touch, you tug on emotions. Often readers will like to know if there's any common ground between you and them. This is especially so if they admire you or your company or the success you've had. They want to know if any part of your life or your story resembles theirs. Showing yourself as human and offering anecdotal evidence is vital. Personal stories often imply that they too can achieve some success, which brings them comfort. Number 16, editing can wait. Start writing. Don't write, edit, write, edit, write, edit. That can make the content creation process very long. Write until you're finished, then go back and edit later. The more you get into this habit, the easier content creation becomes. Number 17, end with a question. This doesn't mean that all your conclusions to all of your blog posts should ask the reader a direct question. The question can be implied or it can be rhetorical. The idea is to leave the reader thinking about what they've just read. Questions at the end can improve engagement, though. If you have a comments section on your blog, you should ask a question or ask them to answer a question in the comments below. Number 18, build habits. Having a goal is just a thought without action. Finding a writing place, having an idea notebook, making a schedule for writing are very, very integral to success in content marketing and SEO. Remember, success isn't an achievement. It's a lifestyle. So build success habits. Number 19, create outlines. This is one that many writers don't do, or many content generators don't do. They don't create outlines, and it's a big flaw because the easiest way to get started is by having an outline to follow, especially if you're going to be hiring writers, and you should be hiring writers as you grow. You don't want to have 100 clients or have a blog that has 100,000 visitors per month and you're doing all the writing. It's going to be nearly impossible to do that, and it's going to be very stressful and a lot of work. So there are going to be times where you're going to have to outsource the writing to someone else, but you want them to use your tone. They want them to understand your brand. You want them to understand your buyer's journey and where in the buyer's journey does this content that they're going to be writing falls into, etc. So the easiest way to get started with an outline for the actual content part of the outline of the piece is what I learned in high school, and I still use this to this day. It's called the Hamburger style outline, which is intro, body, conclusion. In the intro, it's very simple. You need a hook sentence, something that's going to captivate the reader, whether it's a question, a statement, a joke, an anecdote, etc. And in the intro, you're also going to have a thesis statement or a thesis sentence where you tell the reader what to expect in the body. And then the body presents the argument in digestible sections with headers. Finally, the conclusion reverts back to the hook. What engaged them at the beginning, you come back to it, you summarize the body, and concludes with a statement, thought, or a question. Number 20, sleep on it. It's easy to get burnt out. It's easy to get burnt out when you're writing content. Make sure to take breaks. Do something completely different than just writing or brainstorming about content. If you've spent 2 hours writing, take a break, come back later. It helps. If you've written a whole piece, sleep on it before you publish it, or publish it, sleep on it, and then read it again, and you can edit. The likelihood that anybody is going to read that overnight is very low. And even if they do, you can go back and edit, and it's not going to be detrimental to your blog post. Now let's go over the action items or your homework for this part 1 of module 3. Number 1, I want you to go back and optimize your existing content. Now that you know what it takes to make great content, because we just went over the 20 content rules, I want you to go back to the content that you've already written or that you've started to write and make sure you're following the content marketing rules I just went over. The second part of the homework is to organize your content, whether it's content that you already have on your blog, on your website, or content that you've started to create, or as you're creating new content, I want you to start organizing it. As you're going through your content, I want you to label it as either awareness, consideration, or decision-making in your buyer's journey. If you're writing a blog post that's informational, you're going to label it as awareness, and you might want to store it somewhere so that you know that, oh, these are all of my awareness style blog posts on my blog or for my client. By doing this, you'll be able to plan out future content and lead readers to conversions, because you'll know exactly where in the buyer's journey they are and where you need to nudge them to get to that decision-making stage of the buyer's journey. If you're watching this video on YouTube, there's a link to the description to the module on my website so that you can take the full course. It's a 7-module course. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Okay, so that's done. Conclusion. Yep. So yeah, that's pretty good. It's pretty straightforward when you talk about content marketing. So yeah, content marketing is a huge aspect to search engine optimization. Search engine optimization is what's given me the life that I have here in Medellin, Colombia. You know, after living here for more than 10 years, I've been able to form a team. I've been able to have some very, very good clients for a very long time. And this is how I go about creating content for our clients. I can't be more adamant about the fact that you should know your buyer persona. Even if you don't know much, you should start brainstorming and collecting. There should be a document somewhere on your computer or on the cloud where you're storing information about your buyer. The more you know about your buyer, the easier it's going to sell. This is why some of the biggest companies in the world right now are data information companies like Amazon, Google. A lot of people think that Amazon is a place where they sell and buy things and they make money that way. No, they're in the information gathering business. That's why Twitter was so expensive to buy. That's why Facebook is so valuable, is because they have a lot of data and information about potential buyers. And this data and information is very, very, very valuable. So the more that you can acquire, the more information you can acquire about your potential buyer, your potential customer, not only from the point where they're not even aware that they have a problem or that they need your product or that they need your service. They don't even know this yet, to the point to where they've bought your product and how you're going to get them back to either buy an add-on or an extended version of your product or become a repeat client, depending on your service or your product. We've done this in the drug and alcohol rehab sector, and it's proven to be amazing because we can create content for our clients. Well, first of all, we know who our client is. Like our buyer persona are these facilities that need our help. Second, we know their buyer persona. We know that they need, depending on what type of drug and alcohol rehab center they are, we know what type of buyer they're looking for. Obviously, the demographic will change depending on what part of the country they're in, but we can get all that information from their admissions team. So it's pretty fun. I mean, it's something that I like to do. Michael, what's up, bro? How you doing? Yeah, so it's something that that I like to do. It's something that was new to me because, like I've said before, I did not go to school for this. I never went to university. I, was in jail for 2 years as a kid, at 23 years old. And then coming out of jail, I had to learn all this on my own the hard way. And now I'm 41 and I believe that I know it pretty well. So I've started to create this course, which I'm recording. I'm doing live recordings, and it's going to be edited and put up on my website so that people could take it for free if you're on the newsletter. And then I'll sell it eventually and create another passive income funnel through this course and multiple courses as I continue. But it's very important to understand what people are looking for. And that's the other reason why I'm giving this course out for free, is because I need to gather as much information from you, the person that's going to take it for free, feedback, information. What are your pain points? What are your needs? What are the things that are helping you? What are the things that didn't help you, etc., and how I can improve on the course as I move forward. So thank you guys for watching this live episode.